Hello and welcome everyone to Book Marketing Fridays. I'm Shanon, writing an opinion of S.C. Huston and the author of A Curse of Scales and Feathers, A Curse of Wings and Gems, and the currently releasing Bound to the Elements series. And the goal of today's stream is to do some book marketing. So I will start off talking about what I've been doing and my results, if I have any, which today I do, and then set my intentions for the sprint, the 1 hour sprint, and then we'll do the sprint, hopefully complete my intentions or some part of it, and then we'll come back and talk about what we've done throughout that one sprint. So at the moment, what I from last week when we had the book marketing sprint, I made 4 ads for Facebook, and the intention was that I would have 4 creatives. So I'll put those up here. 4 creatives, which is the image, but then everything else would be the same, and that's like the headline and the description and whatnot. So everything else stayed the same. The only thing that was different was these 4. Now, these ads were created to drive, they were lead gen ads that I drove to a website, and that was Story Origin for a free reader magnet to download. And then, of course, that was connected to my newsletter. So I had quite a bit of data that I could look at. Of course, I have the data I have from the Facebook ads, like how much money they spent on them, and click-through rates, CTR, and cost per, CPC, cost per click. Which the CTR and the CPC is kind of somewhat important when you're looking at your costs. So I have all of those, and I did write up everything here so I could try to make as much sense as possible. And I feel like I still didn't get everything in here. I know one thing I left out, so I'll probably add that as I go through it. But just as a note, this is for a free reader magnet, Vesper and the Moon Shield, which is a full novella that follows the same theme concept of the Bound to the Elements series, which is currently releasing 1 every month. I have 2 books out right now. Next week, the 3rd book launches, and then 1 every month through the end of the year, through November. I will at some point, either December, but I think I'm going to wait until January. I will actually publish this reader magnet as well. But it will still be free for anybody who wants to get it to join my newsletter list. So you can either buy it for 99 cents, which is, I think is what I'm going to put it up for, is 99 cents. Or you can, get it free on the newsletter. So that's probably what I'll do with it. And so I made the 4 creatives off of that, and I gave all of them names there. So you have trope card, reader reaction, quote, ad, and character vibe. Okay. I had all of these begin on Sunday. So I made these, or almost, I made some of them, 2 of them, I think, during the Friday last week book marketing sprint. And then on the weekend, on Saturday, I finished making the other 2, and I got it set up in Facebook. And then I had them all launch at the same time, 12:01 a.m. on Sunday. So I launched these 4 Facebook ads to the free reader magnet. The audience, targeting, budget, everything else, again, was completely identical across all 4 ads. The only thing I changed was the image. That's the creative. And the goal was to see which type of image would attract the most readers. After 5 days, the ads generated 90 downloads. And again, I have this going to Story Origin, and it's its own link. So I actually have this reader magnet, like three different links for this with different landing pages to be tracked separately. So I have one for social media. I have one that's going to be in group promos, but I haven't done any. I've signed up for group promos, but it's starting next month. So I'll be able to see like who comes in from group promos, who comes in from social media, who comes in from the Facebook ads, and look at reader behavior and see which ones are most invested, like who stays subscribed, compared to those who unsubscribe. So I'm going to be looking at lots of data as this goes on. But for right now, this is going out to Facebook ads, and I just put up 1 post on social media, and I've got 1 person who got it. So with this one here, it was 90 downloads is what I have all together as of this morning. I looked at it at 8:40, I think, this morning. I have a few more downloads now. So after 5 days, the ads generated 90 downloads of Reader Magnet. Of those 90, 73 joined my newsletter. So when they signed up, they're automatically added to my newsletter. But if they've been on my newsletter before and unsubscribed, then they wouldn't get added. So of the 90, that means there was 17 people who had been on my newsletter list before and unsubscribed. That gives me a conversion rate of roughly 81% from download to subscriber, which is actually pretty good. It's not bad. I liked it earlier in the week, but I realized that Facebook likes to, especially the first day or so, it really pushes your ad out there hard. And not only that, it pushes it to the audience that they're most likely, at least this is what I'm assuming from everything I've read, They push it to the audience that's most likely to have the behavior that we're looking for with the ad, which is to click and download. So it does that. It shows it to the audience first before it goes a little more wide. So you get more downloads. Like that first day, I got 40 some downloads. And it's 90 downloads altogether throughout the week. So 50 downloads the rest of the week, 40 some during that one first day. And so back then, the conversion was like 50 cents a subscriber. But right now, my subscribers cost me roughly $1.16 because the total ad spend was $84.48 throughout the week as of 8:40 this morning. And that puts my cost per subscriber at $1.16. So the most important metrics I looked at, which I've got the metrics here that I can show you. So the most important metrics that I looked at here was the CTR, the click-through rate, and the CPC, or cost per click. CTR tells you like what percentage of people who saw the ad clicked on it, while CPC tells me how much I paid for each of those clicks. For author Facebook ads, a CTR above 1% is generally acceptable. And you can see CTRs here. On the best CTR was 18.37%. And the worst was the reader reaction, which was 6.12%. So if I keep those, the best and the worst, and I look at the averages, 1% is generally considered acceptable, 2 to 3% is considered good, and anything above 5% is usually very strong. So all four of my ads are above 5%, which means it's all very strong CTRs. So that, they exceeded that benchmark. The character vibe ad, of course, it's done the best. You can see there it has the best CTR. Achieved an 18.37% CTR with a cost per click of 23 cents. You want that to go as low as you can. So the quote ad, which is the one next to it, that achieved an 8.13% CTR. I'm not even going to tell it. The worst one was the reader reaction card. That's the third one there. And that is a 6.12% CTR, which is still great. But the CPC is 67 cents, which is not good at all. So what this tells me, of course, is that the character vibe creative is resonating most strongly with readers. So not only did it receive the highest click-through rate, but it also generated those clicks at a lower cost because of the CPC. Meta also naturally gave it the most impressions, which is usually a sign that the platform is seeing positive engagement signals. I think I have like another, I don't know, does this have, it's kind of the same thing. But this is a comparison of the four that you can see with just the main metrics pulled out with the comparison, the click comparison, the cost per click, and the CTR comparison, completion, whatever. Comparison. I'm saying all the wrong words. So you can see that there. And if we look at all of it, I got the whole thing put together here. So I also tracked what happened after readers joined my newsletter, which I kind of talked about that already, that I had, it was a 90 who downloaded, 73 who are on my newsletter. So I also looked at, of those 73 who are on my newsletter, have they unsubscribed? Like, are they signing up, getting the reader magnet, unsubscribing? Because I see that behavior so much. Mostly I see it on BookFunnel. So I'm on different sites. So I do mostly inorganic, things to get people on my newsletter list. I have tried organic. I'm doing organic right now with this reader magnet without being on social media. But I use BookFunnel and Story Origin. On BookFunnel, I have the most people who sign up to get my reader magnets and automatically unsubscribe. And those same people will go get my new reader magnets, and now they can't subscribe because they've already unsubscribed, but they can still get my reader magnets. And that behavior is really prevalent on BookFunnel, at least in my experience. So I was wondering, okay, what's going to happen with this group here? Are they going to, sign up and then automatically unsubscribe like I've seen on BookFunnel? And so far, it has not happened. So, of course, this just started. I do have an automation sequence. I think it's 18 emails long. I don't remember, with several days in between each email. So some of these subscribers who came in early in the week, they've made it to the second email in the sequence, where some people are still on the first email because they were just signing up in the last day or two or three. So with that, what I looked at was, roughly 35%, just under 35% opened that first email, with a 17.39% clicking on something, which is actually really high. Like 2%, 3% is my normal for people to click on things in the emails. I've heard, but I don't know if this is completely true, but 5 to 7% click through or click rate is pretty good. And this is 17%. But that first email, the welcome email, almost always has a high click through rate or high click rate. On the second email, those who've made it there, 26% have opened it, and that's a 4.35% clicked. So, and that's at the time of recording these results, which, and then I have 0 unsubscribes from all of these new subscribers. So that's pretty interesting. Now, I say they're new, the new subscribers, there's no unsubscribes. There are 6 people who signed up who are already on my newsletter list, which is interesting to me because I actually offered this reader magnet for free before I put it on Facebook. So people, all they had to do is click on the link and they could go ahead and download. Where if they saw it on Facebook as a Facebook ad, they had to click on the link, fill in their information, and then get the download button. So I thought that was really interesting that I have people on my newsletter list who went through the Facebook route, possibly not having even opened the email. And I know I could probably go look and see who are these people because I know that they're, it shows me how many people have signed up on which one. I actually have it separated my email automation. So when someone comes into my email automation, whatever it is I'm doing, the very first question I put on there is, are they part of my regular email list? And if it's yes, then they go into one branch of the email automation. If it's no, then they go into another branch. Now, the no branch is where they get all the emails, the 17, 18, 19. They're different depending on which automation I have. I have 20 automations at the moment. So they'll get all those emails. Now, those who are already on my email list, they usually get 2, 3, maybe 4 max, depends on what it is that they're getting emails. The first one is, hey, thanks for being my reader. Here it is. Here's the information again. The second one is, hey, just checking up, make sure you got it. So, make sure that they got the link and they download it because some people forget. And then usually the third one is like, ask for a review or something, especially if it's like a bonus chapter to a book they read or something like that. So I can see who has yes or no. And then on the no side, if someone is a new subscriber to me, it's roughly about the 5th or 6th email that they then get the tag or the group. They get added to the group of regular email subscribers. So that way I can see who's regular subscribers if they sign up for anything else in the future. So there's that. Okay. Based on all of this data, I decided to turn off the reader reaction ad because that is consistently had the weakest performance across the metrics that I was tracking. However, I did not make any other changes. If you're kind of thinking like the scientific method, you only want to change one thing, one variable to see what happens because it could be possible. I don't think it is. It could be possible that even though the reader reaction has some of the worst metrics, it could be that those are the people who are staying, who are going to want to stay on the list and do the best later. But I don't have any way to figure out which ad each of my subscribers came in off of. Now I've researched it and there are ways to do that where you can make an ad and it has its own URL link. Of course, you also have the Metapixel, which I have a Metapixel and I put that on Story Origin, but it doesn't, the two platforms don't talk to each other because Story Origin is a third-party platform. So I can't say where is the information or where is that coming in from. The only thing that does, from what I understand, and I don't know at all, but from what I understand is that having that Metapixel on my Story Origin stuff is that it does feed information back to Facebook, which then helps Facebook figure out what my audience is. The audience that's most likely to continue to click on ads for this type of material. So if I had set up a landing page on my own website, I could have done 4 separate landing pages. So I would know who is coming in from which ad. But I thought I would decrease the friction of people signing up. And actually, David Gauguin sent out an email today that talks about Facebook ads, and he sets up a landing page on his website. And he does say that sometimes people nope out. That's what he said. He said they nope out. First of all, they don't know who you are. You're asking for their information, where they might be more familiar with something like BookFunnel if you do a landing page there, or be more comfortable with something like Story Origin. Now, BookFunnel, I probably could have done 4 different pages. To be honest, I could have. But I'm on a grandfathered plan where I can only have so many thousands of downloads a month. And although I've not reached that threshold, I keep thinking, well, what if I get close to it? And then I'm going to have to change what I'm doing with the Facebook ads, and I'll have to change stuff. And I'll have to change up what I'm doing on BookFunnel, which I'm not close to it. I maybe should have done that. That would have probably been the best thing to do, but it's not what I did. So I don't know which ad is actually pulling in the most people. I mean, we can look at the numbers and kind of have a guess, but sometimes you really don't know. All right. So the next step for me with these ads, yeah, so sorry, I didn't finish off my notes here from when I said I only turned off one and changed nothing else. Because if I change both the budget and the ad lineup at the same time, it would be difficult to know which change caused any future results. So by shutting off one ad, we'll see if I continue to get similar results. And so if my average of subscribers and signups are, stays the same, then I'll know that the reader reaction didn't actually bring in too many people. So the next step from here is letting the remaining ads run for a few more days and continue monitoring subscriber costs, email engagement, eventually whether these readers move on to my books. And so I'm trying to think, because I have an email in the email automation that says, okay, and for this particular one, since it's bound to the elements and the books are standalone, so they could, read any of them in any order. I think I have an email that is set up where it says, are you in the mood for this? Or are you in the mood for that? So it's like the tropes and stuff like that. So, based off of what they might be in the mood for, I give them the link to the book that they might want to buy. But I think that doesn't come until like email 5 or 6. And they're not going to get to email 5 or 6 in the next week or in the next few days. So I'm going to figure out what I need to do. But at least for right now, I'm going to let these keep running. I'll probably just come in and check to see if they're still pulling in the same like kind of average numbers for people to sign up on the email newsletter list. So at this stage, I have just validated that readers are willing to click the ads, download the reader magnet, and join the newsletter. The next question is whether those subscribers become long-term readers or not. So, all right. So that's all the information about the ads. My intentions today for this marketing hour is that I'm going to start setting up my social media plan for the 4th book release. So the 3rd book release is next week on June 4th. I have social media posts planned and some of them scheduled. I schedule the posts, the reels and stories I do by day because you can't put music on it if you schedule it through the business suite on Facebook or the Meta business suite. So, but I have everything made through June 11th. I say 12th. I have it through June 11th. The 12th is where I need to start. So I need to come up with June 12th material through 2 weeks past the release date of the next book, which is Lotus and the Earth Sun. So I'm probably only going to get around to like setting up the plan and what kind of ads I want to have. So, and I know that I set up different types of ads between the first and the second book. And I came up with some different ones for the 3rd book. And I'm like, ooh, I want to go through and just pull out what type of ads I've made that are the same through all of them, which ones are not that I really liked doing because I don't remember what I did. So I think that's probably going to take a little bit of time, maybe 10, 15 minutes to figure out, okay, here are all the different types of ads I made if I want to try and keep something similar going. And here's what I still need to do. And then try and start setting up the 4-week plan between the middle of June and the middle of July, basically. So, hi. Aw, thank you. Yeah, I like the covers. I don't know. Did you see my 3rd book cover? I just shared it with my newsletter list. I don't know if this is too big. Take this off so you can see it. Media assets. Okay, just got that back. So the dragon, I hired someone to do the dragon because I didn't like any of the dragons that were in the stock photos. And my designer was able to put it all together and make it go together very well. So yeah, I really like the cover. I don't know which one I like. I think I still like my first one the best, to be honest. A lot of readers and a lot of people say they like the second one better. But I think this is my least favorite, but I like the posing. I don't think this came out quite the way that I want it, but it's not bad. Oh, I need your newsletter. Hold up. Oh, well, if you want to get a free reader magnet, I was just talking about that. I did, this one here is a free reader magnet to get on my newsletter. It's it's actually like a novelette length. It's, I think it's 13 or 14,000 words long. But that's what I was doing. Ads are. If you go back to the beginning of this stream, I talked about all the ads that I created for this, and I've been running them all week, and the results from that, and what I decided to do from it. And so, if you want the link for that, I can give it. No, I do like it. I guess I just okay. Hold on, let me bring it back. I feel like we messed with his eyes quite a bit, and I kept saying I don't like his eyes, I don't like his eyes, and she finally made them glowy, and this is like the best version of them, with them kind of glowing like this. But I didn't like the eyes. I don't know. I just it, something about it doesn't quite feel right, but I can't figure out what it was. It's still a good one, and she did really great. And she did an awesome job with this cover. I don't know what it is. I'm not quite over the moon about, but I do like the book cover. I just don't like it as much as my other ones. I like I said, I still think that the first one is my favorite. The second one's not bad, but that one tends to be a favorite of the readers. But let's see, comments. No, I haven't seen this one. Yeah, I had just shared it with my newsletter, and thank you. Yeah, your first one's pretty striking. I love the colors of this one. Yeah, I do like the colors. And it's not that I don't love it, like a magnet for the fridge. No, a reader magnet. So it's I don't know if you've ever heard the term like lead magnet that a lot of businesses do. Like, so a business will be like, hey, if you sign up on our newsletter list, we'll give you a 20% code or a 20% discount on your next whatever it is. That's like a lead magnet in a way. And so they have that for readers, a reader magnet, or for authors, it's called a reader magnet. Or I don't know if you've heard the term a cookie. Tammy Labrecque, she wrote a couple of good books about newsletter marketing and as an author, and she calls them cookies. So I know what you mean. Sometimes you can't pinpoint it isn't quite what you had in mind. Yeah. But from an outside standpoint, I think it's cool, alluring, cool colors, and exciting. Oh, thank you, Badger. I appreciate that. Let me see if I can grab that link if you're interested in. So if you sign up, if you use this link, you'll get onto my newsletter. Plus, you'll get the story. I don't know. Do you like? It's it's romantasy, so it's fantasy romance, and it's got sexy times. So if that's not your jam, then you don't have to download it. But let's see. You have to let me know. I won't give you I won't be like, here's a link, sign up, if that's not something that you would want to read. I gotta find the right link. Because I have this 3 times on Story Origin, but you can't do like a separate social media link or whatever. Did I find it? Copy. Okay, so it's not that one. I have one that's set up just for Facebook, but because, okay, I found the right one. No, I'd love the link if you don't mind. Okay. Oh, I missed this one. Sorry. Oh, okay. Reader magnet. Good to know. Yeah, I'm pretty 101 level of marketing, and this is a great example of how I need to learn. Yeah. I would definitely recommend Tammy Labrecque's books. I think the first one is if you give a cookie or something like that, but I can't remember the name of the book. But it was really, really good. And I've put it off because I want to build up my series first. Now that I'm working on 5 and 6 and have 4 up, like there's really no excuse. So the best thing I could say, I mean, just my opinion, you do not have to listen to me whatsoever. And I wish I would have done this early with my first series, is have a bonus chapter. So if someone gets through your first book and they like it, and they click on your link to go get the bonus chapter, you've got a warm reader. So they call it a warm reader. And they're most likely to buy from you. I think Labrecque is trying to remember. I could have this quite. It's got a Q in it, so that might not be right though. I don't know why that's sticking in my head, and I feel like now it's not right. So I could be totally wrong. But if you put in maybe even if you put it in the way you spell it and then put cookie reader magnet, it'll probably pull it up. I guess she calls it a cookie. If you give a mouse a cookie when I search. That's funny. I can't remember. And that could have been like a subtitle. Email. I don't know. Yeah. So like, if you like, I'm doing that now with my series that's publishing the Bound to Elements, which, oh, I should put the link. Duh, I got the link. So this is to Vesper and the Moon Shield. Reader magnet. So I started doing this with this series here. So I can see like which, I only have 2 books out in the series right now, and the third one comes out next week. But I can see, and I knew this, I kind of felt it because I had early readers, that the first book was going to do better than the second book. They're standalone, so you don't have to read them in any order. But the second book is much quieter, and because it's in the Moon Fae culture, which they're more like silent. They believe silence is good. And so it's much quieter, more introspective. And I can see like the people who are signing up on my newsletter to get the bonus chapter. So Book Funnel did a video a little while ago. They actually have 2 now. The second one goes into a different, like more in depth. But the first one talks about like the 5 different types of reader magnets you can have. You have cold reader magnets. So the one I just dropped in the chat, that's a cold reader magnet. Like people are like, well, that sounds like a cool concept. I think I want to read that story. They don't know me. They don't have any feelings about me. So they sign up for it and they get it. So then you have your warm reader magnet, which comes after the end of the book. And if someone signs up for it, it means they like your writing. You know that these people are going to like your writing. And that helps you toward getting like those people who might be fans of your work. So, and there are other types that he talks about, but I don't remember what they are. Those are the 2 important ones, I think. But there are, when he talked about the all 5, I thought, oh, those are all really important at some point in your author career. And he even said in that video, because Jack from Book Funnel said it, that you don't have to do all 5 up front. It's kind of like a process you build over time. So yeah, I'd love to link if you don't mind. Yeah, drop that. I'm trying to clear out my emails so I can actually read things I want to read, like write our newsletters and so on. Okay, so I don't actually talk about, well, I do talk about writing occasionally. What do I talk about? The last newsletter I sent out was about what? Was it about writing? So yeah, most of my audience are readers. There are definitely people from the AuthorTube community who are on the newsletter. It always surprises me because I don't know that they actually read my work, but oh yeah, that's what it was. So yeah, my last newsletter was kind of writer related. I wanted to get the opinion of, and I only had a few responses to it. So I'll have to try and figure it out my own, but I want to do a visual timeline because mine is fantasy romance. Romance is definitely a big part of it, but fantasy is like, I come from a fantasy background. So like, I'm really into the world building and I have like 1700 years worth of history that I want to make a visual timeline. So I put like 5 different timelines, visual timelines into my emails. Like, which ones do you guys like? Which one would make the most sense to you, to see? And so, and I was like, what would you like on it? Like wars and battles, political shifts, major magical events, births of important characters, when each story takes place. Like I definitely am going to do that one. And random bits of history that may never appear directly in the books, which I have lots of stuff. Like I have my own timeline, but it's not visual. It's just I have it from the 0 years, what I call it year 0. Like in our, here in our world, year 0 for Christians is the year that Jesus was born. In my story, the 0 year is the time of forgetting. And that's what the age is called, is a time of forgetting, because nobody really remembers what happened before the 0 year. So yeah. Did you find it? I'm not that low. I found it. Yay. Okay, cool. I'm glad you found it. Oh, Newsletter Ninja. Yeah, duh. I was almost right with the way I spelled it. I forgot the C. Brick. Lebrick. Oh, so the B wasn't capitalized. C. So not capitalize the B and put the C in there. I was close, but yeah, it's hard. We don't have a name that's like Smith or whatever. Yeah, with book 5, it's taken so long because I've struggled with cutting scenes. And Rhiannon was like, make those scenes you like, but keep bonus scenes for newsletter. And I was like, oh my God, yes, you can, especially for your warm readers. So another tip that I heard, which is kind of what I've sort of done, but not, I wish I would do it better. That the best way to write bonus scenes is don't stop writing at the end of your book. Like write the next chapter that would happen. Whether it's like, the next day or 2 months later or a couple years in the future, just write the next thing that would happen. And just write through it, right through the end, write your next chapter. And then you can take that and that's your bonus chapter. And of course, depending on what genre you write, I'm trying to remember what you write. In my head, I have it as fantasy, but I don't know if I'm right. Because there are certain expectations. The first bonus chapter I wrote was for my book that came out in March. And I had a reader who reached out to me and she said, I liked the bonus chapter in some ways, but it made me sad, and I did not want that. And I'm like, how is it sad? And I went through it and I kind of broke it down. I was like, yeah, I guess she's kind of thinking about her future and how, because it's a fae, and her husband is a fae, but they're two different seasons. So they're going to have human children, which means the humans are going to die and they're not going to. So she's thinking about how it's traditional for wood fae to wither, which is that they join their spirit to trees. And so there's ancestral trees in the families. So she was thinking that she'd probably do that because her children are going to die one day. I was like, oh, I write fantasy romance, and the romance readers are not going to want to have a sad note, even if they are having children. That's not a happy note if she's thinking about possibly dying one day. And I was like, okay, I gotta go fix this. So you have to be aware of what your genre expectations are. Never would have occurred to me. I like it when they're about your other interests or your books. The writing tips are also fine. Never turn down a tip. I kind of like when newsletters are about not writing too. Yeah, I don't really write about writing in my newsletters. It's more about like the stories and stuff like that. And I do have, like, especially since I have a lot of books coming out this year. I used to do one newsletter a month, and now I'm doing two most months because one's set up to like, hey, this book came out. And I don't like to put too much into the newsletter. So then I'm like, but I'm kind of missing talking about the world and the world building and getting people's ideas and feelings and thoughts and things like that. I think I did. And here's another thing too. Some of, if you look at your metrics for your newsletter, see which ones do well, that could be part of your newsletter automation later. Because I did one email, this was earlier in the year, about doing a deep dive on Reddit about romantasy readers and what the readers were saying that they really wanted, like how they're tired of like cookie cutter romantasies, that the same thing happens over and over again. You always got the shadow daddy, you got this, you got that. And they're like, they want something different. They want fantasy to be a huge part of it. There are a lot of romantasy stories. If you took the fantasy out and put the romance into contemporary world, it would still work the same because the fantasy setting has nothing to do with the actual romance. And I was like, well, this is exactly what I was thinking when it came to my writing. Like, I remember like my very first book I wrote in fantasy romance, and I sent it to my beta readers. I put in there, I want this to be 50-50, where like it's part romance and it's part fantasy, and neither could survive without the other. So the romance wasn't there, the story would fall apart. But the fantasy wasn't there, the story would fall apart, that you need both. And so I was like, this is what I'm doing. So that I just talked about my deep dive on romantasy in that newsletter. And I had a lot of people respond to it. It did really well. So I saved that newsletter. Now it's part of my automation sequence I send out in my newsletter. So a visual timeline. I know extra stuff like this is cool when you're deep into a series. There's several series where you're like, I need more. Yeah. And all my series all my fantasy romance series are in the same chaos universe, is what I call it. And we're in the years past the age of forgetting, and we're leading up to the years that's going to be the chaos lore, which is a prophecy in which all magic is going to go away. And I know the last series I'm going to write in this universe because it's when magic goes away. So, but right now everybody's like working toward like not having magic disappear. And then, so I thought, well, I can start a whole new universe series, when it comes after the time of magic, because magic's not going to go all the way. But right now my world is like populated by everything that's magical. The only thing that's not magical are humans. They're very small populations though, because they're the only non-magical creatures. And then the dragons were created by the gods to protect the humans because they needed protection because there's too many magical people in the world. So it's going to become like the age of the humans in the future. But there'll still be like those that they'll call like witches. Like the witches don't exist in my world, but they do in that new universe. If I ever get around to writing that, I might die before then though, because I have lots of stories. I do cozy mysteries. Oh, okay. Probably set in contemporary times. I don't know why I didn't remember that. It's a great idea, rekeeping the story once actual book is done. Yeah, I thought that was genius, because I know when I wrote my first book, Blood of the Lily, which was just fantasy, but based on Irish mythologies, I didn't even think about that. Well, I didn't know that. I hadn't heard the story, or I hadn't heard that advice. And then I wrote the second book, and I think that's when I heard the advice, but I was like, I just want to get to the third book. And I was like, when I didn't do it for the first book, so why should I do it for the second book? So then I tried to do one for the first book, but then my mind was already into the third book that I couldn't like backtrack to write a bonus scene or bonus chapter for the book one. And so I just forgot all of it. Yeah. So when it came to the Bound to Elements, I wrote all the Bound to Elements first drafts last year between August and December, and then sent them off to Omega readers and then my beta readers. But by the time before they're going to my beta readers, I am sitting there already doing some of my, I'm looking at my revisions and stuff. And as I'm revising big sections of it at the end, then I wrote the bonus chapter. And I think that really helped. So I didn't do it with the first draft. I did it with my revision draft. I think bonus scenes would help with long plot because I have too much long plot. And even though it's important to me, like they don't need to know everything in the book, but warm readers might like it. Yeah. I don't know what the expectations of a bonus scene for a cozy mystery would be. I mean, it's pretty easy for me to figure out for like fantasy romance. You're going to draw fantasy lovers and romance people, but mostly if you've got the romance, you've got to have a happy bonus scene now, which I didn't know at the time when I wrote the first one. Like I did know, I internalized that, but I still didn't write it. I wrote more of a, bittersweet ending, which is not what my reader wanted. So, but you know what? Because that reader reached out to me. And at first I just wrote back like, oh, I totally understand. I'm sorry you feel that it made you feel that way. It's what came to me at the time. And so I didn't say anything about me changing it or whatever, but I had thought about it over the next week. And I really started digging into like, okay, Shannon, you have romance readers. They don't want to think that one day this couple's not going to be together anymore. So I went in there and I do think about things for a while before I do something. So I went in there and I redrafted it and rewrote it. And then I reached out to that reader and I don't think she was on my newsletter list. Yeah, she was not on my newsletter list at the time. She just reached out to me through something else. I don't know how she found me, but, oh, well, duh. No, she was on my newsletter list because she got the bonus chapter. So that's how she got from the bonus chapter. Oh, okay. So she was on my newsletter list. So I wrote back to her. Yeah, she hadn't gone through the automation sequence yet. This was really early. And I said, hey, I changed it. After I thought about it for a while, I changed it. And so here's the new one. I gave her a link for a new one. And she came back and she was like, oh my gosh, this is so much better. It's perfect. This is what I was wanting the first time. I can't believe that you changed this based off of what I said. I really appreciate that. Like in my head, I'm like, well, if it didn't work for my reader, then I want to make sure it works for readers. And then she wrote me back and she's like, I want to read everything you have. If you've got anything you need, she's, I love leaving reviews on books. Let me be part of your review team. So I was like, oh, that's so cool. So she's part of my review team now, which is really awesome. But it was a great way to connect to a reader too at the same time. I can only imagine if you reached out to like someone who is like really like set on their world and like they're not going to change it. I could imagine it trying to reach out to an author and be like, this didn't really work for me. I think most authors don't want to hear that anyways. Right? Okay, let's go ahead and get this sprint going. Find the right button. Nope, not the right button. We got 1 hour on the clock. And again, I'm going to be working on a social media plan for my 4th book release, which is going to be in July. All right, good luck, everyone. All right, that is time. How did you do? So my goal was to start working on brainstorming the next 4 weeks of social media promotion that would start June 12th and go through July. So it covered my 4th book coming out in this series. So I got to the 3rd week of planning. But yeah, that's how I did. And Padgett had said this was when we went on to the sprint. Sorry, I got super chatty. I'm either that or dead silent. I was like, yeah, no worries. Sign up for your newsletter. I'm getting first 2 in paperback. And I really appreciate that. Thank you. Hopefully you like them. And I did say, I think you're the only one that's here. Right? So I'm just glad to have someone here with me. And just as goes. Okay, I got some scales and feathers and wings and gems. Kind of excited. Okay, time to zero in. Good luck. And that's great. Oh wait, that's great for what we're able to get done because this is coming off of the sprint. So the other stuff was during the sprint. I'd gotten into the social media promotion, so I've done 8 weeks already, and I had a plan set up for the first 4 weeks and then the second 4 weeks. So I first started off by going through both of those plans and figuring out, okay, what do I have that's the same? And so I started a new document that was just like types of social media posts that I do. And I think I kind of came up with an idea of like, there's like 18 different types of posts and stories and reels and whatnot that I'm doing, from everything from like character spotlights to book cover and 1 week until release and that kind of stuff. So then I use that to start building in my social media plan for the 4th book that comes out, which is July. I just said it. July 6th. So that's what I should have done, huh? Yeah, you know what? I'm just now doing social media. I mean, okay, for my debut, I did some social media. If you go back through my Instagram, I did some social media on there. And it was a lot of work, and I didn't do it again. Now, there are social media posts for my book since then, but that's because people helped me out and did it. And it wasn't always just like, oh, let me do it for you. Devin and I were switching or trading services. Like I really don't like doing social media. So she did my social media for my second Kickstarter, which is the Wings and Gems book. And then she also did it when it launched on retailer platforms. And the trade and services that I'm editing her next book. So we kind of play to your strengths, right? So I ran my own business as a writing coach for many years. And most of what I did was editing. And then I was also I taught college English and literature for almost a decade. So lots of practice in editing. So that's a skill set I have. I read through a scene I wrote yesterday and nitpicked at it. Bad habit. Yes. Yeah, because that can like slow down your progress for sure. And then went down a rabbit hole on ski lodge floor plans. Technically researched, but I need to get better at managing those. Yeah. Yeah. I love research rabbit holes. I love to do research. I like try to keep I try to get some things that happen in our world that's happening in my books. There's actually a scene. There's a few things that are in the first book, Scales and Feathers. But actually, there's a castle siege later on, which is it's actually kind of modeled on the Battle of Exeter in England, all the way to the point where there was like the leader of the army that was besieging the castle had said, like he cut off the tongues or something like that of the people, of some of the townspeople. And he said, if you don't surrender, this is what's going to happen to everybody in your castle. And someone on the wall turned around and pulled down his pants and released some air. So I thought, I'm going to put that in my book. and I did. I put that in there. I did have a character that would have been perfect for him and what he would do. So I kept that in there and didn't do the tongues, but did something similar to that. But there's also the idea of what is it now? It's now I have all these other things going through my head. Oh, Chinese snow. Okay, so the Chinese were the first who came up with gunpowder, basically. What they first called black powder and then later became gunpowder. And when they first came up with the black powder, it was mostly for like fireworks and whatnot for their celebrations. There are 3 ingredients to black powder. Couldn't tell you what they are now. I knew them when I was researching it. One was a secret that the Chinese did not share with anybody, and it became known as Chinese snow. What it was bat guano. Yeah, bat guano. That was the 3rd ingredient. And so for a long time, Chinese snow was a mystery. So I have that. Except in my world, it's dwarven snow. So yeah. So I kind of pulled some of that history in there too. Oh wow, 18. I know I said 18, but I don't remember what in reference to. Oh Lord. See, I talk too much and then I get off track what I was thinking. Oh, 18. I don't know. On point with organizing your marketing, understanding it, and having a plan. I'm trying, but I don't know that I actually understand all of it. Okay, so I'm posting on social media, but I'm not actually looking at my metrics. Like, we did a live stream last night, the AWC, myself, Devin, and Rita. Devin and Rita are really, really good at looking at the metrics on like Instagram, and they were talking about another platform. I kind of zoned out because it's not my strength. When they were talking about it, I just like zoned out. Was it TikTok? I don't remember. Whatever marketing platform they were, and they're talking about their metrics or whatnot. And I just added to the conversation at the end. I was like, I've never even looked at my metrics. So, but for the Facebook ads, I'm looking at the metrics because, I'm spending money there. So I think that's probably a little more important. Now, I am doing one thing that is going to track some metrics. And that is that the reader magnet link that I gave you earlier, that is on my social media. That's on my Instagram profile or page or whatever you call that. I sometimes get confused by what things are called on there. So it's on there, and I've had one person sign up from there. So like, I know that one person has come from Instagram. So that's about it. And that's free, right? It's free advertising. You're not paying for that. I got the hiccups. Where like on Facebook, I'm paying for it, but I've got 90 plus signups from Facebook. So that's about the only metric I'm keeping at right now. To be honest, I shouldn't be writing book 6. Would be taking Brian Cohen's courses and reading marketing books and researching other people's marketing. I mean, it's so much to do, Paget. So I would just learn a little bit here and there. Like, I don't know how long you've been writing for, as far as not writing in your life, right? Because you've probably been writing many, many, many years, but like writing for publishing. So I've been writing to publish. Well, I wrote my debut, I wrote in 2020, and I've been published into November 2021. And I was like absorbing information about marketing then, but I wasn't really paying attention because it's so hard when you've got like so much to learn about publishing to start with. And I did do some not social media. I didn't do social media promoting on my second and third book, but I did for the first one. But like too, when you're doing your first book, like before you hit the publish button, like you have like all the time in the world to just write and do things. And then you hit the publish button, you're like, oh wait, I got to do this and I got to do that. I got to do this. So I never did it for my second or third book, but I did run Amazon ads. And I have to tell you that I've never gotten to a point where I feel like Amazon ads have been profitable for me. Where in Facebook ads, I can see where I can be profitable and I see what I need to do in order to get to that profitability level one day. Like right now I'm doing Facebook ads to Reader Magnet. There's no profitability that's one for one there. Essentially, I'm paying for people to come on my newsletter list. I'm roughly at $1.15, $1.16 per reader at this moment, subscriber coming onto my newsletter list. But what is really the value of that? If they go on to buy books in my series, like I did have a paperback sale yesterday, and there was several people who signed up. Was it one of them who bought the paperback? If they bought the paperback, well, they just made back their what I paid for them plus someone else, because I made like $2 and some change, or close. No, it's $3 and some change. So that's like 3 people that they paid for. So then I've got back the value of that newsletter subscriber, but I can't really tell if that's where they came from or not. But the hope is that over time, everything you put into motion may not have something that happens now, but it compounds over time until it stays more consistent. At least that's the hope. I don't know if I'll get there, but that's the hope. And I love them too. Research rabbit holes are like as fun as outlining brainstorming to me, but I can also get super lost in there. Yeah, I can too sometimes, especially when I don't want to do anything else. I don't want to do admin. Let me find out about this, and then I wasted hours going down a rabbit hole. Yeah, and I released some air. Yes, it was really funny. Actually, I did that when I wrote the third book in the series. That was the book cover I shared with you earlier, The Curse of Spikes and Smoke. Both the leads are in secret organizations. And I did tons and tons of research. Like I started writing that in January of last year, February. I think I was writing notes in January and started in February. And I just watched lots and lots of videos and read lots of stuff about ninjas was one of them, of course, but they were actually called, they were not called ninjas during their time. What were they called? I had this. Ninjas. Shinobis. I didn't even pull it up yet, and I remembered it. Shinobis. Okay, so ninjas, so shinobi. So then I researched into shinobis. I also researched CIA, FBI, and I looked into like all these tactics because one, she's an assassin, but then he is a seeker, so he looks for lost items that were relics and stuff like that. And they're all given training on how to get people to reveal information to them. Like, so she's usually sent to assassinate people, but she also is to get information from some of them. So they have to know these techniques. And so the MI6, FBI, CSI. Did that make sense? I don't know, whatever. I did lots and lots of research into it. I spent quite a few months doing that, but I probably started it like in December or November the year before. So, but yeah, that was so fun. And I'm still listening to some of them. Oh my gosh, because it's so fascinating, like the different tricks and techniques and stuff. And I put some of that into the book. Like Nira, that's my main female character. Like she's in a situation in which she actually has the upper hand, but the other person doesn't know it. So she's trying to get him to reveal information that she's looking for. And then as she's like using each trick, like in her internal monologue, like what the reader's reading, she's naming the trick. It's not really a trick, right? It's a tactic. But she's naming it. And then, so it's fun. Yeah. In the rabbit holes, you find random things like that guy also, right? That guano also in mascara. Really? I did not know that. And gunpowder. That is wild. Yes. And you were talking about different kinds of social media posts, I think. Oh yeah, the 18 different types of stuff. Yes. But that was split up between where is it at? Oh, types of social media here. So it's split up between feed posts, carousels, reels, and stories. Now this is mostly on Instagram, and it's across posts to Facebook. So like in feed posts, I have 7 different types. It's 14, not 18. But I have 20. Wait. What did I do? I have 20 listed out, like in depth, like in detail, but I have 14 in the beginning. So I don't know what my actual number is, but I have cover spotlight. So for feed posts, cover spotlight, character spotlight, mood aesthetic, reading choice and question, author brand or personal, series identity, premise hook. And then carousels is like trope carousel, excerpt carousel, educational carousel, reader archetype carousel, world faction carousel. And reels, you got countdown reel, character dynamic reel. And stories, countdown story, availability story, reminder story, aesthetic tease story. What do I not have in here? I'm missing something. Availability. Oh, series identity posts and premise hook posts. No, I got premise hook in there. So series identity. Oh, I misnumbered. It's 20. Gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 9, 10, 11. 11, 12, 13, 14. So I have 11 twice, 9 and 10 twice, 6 and 7 twice, because I forgot to renumber them. Because I have 2 documents, when in the first book launch and when the second book launch. And so I was trying to pull out from there which ones are the same, trying to give them like a name for the type of post or carousel or reel or story it was and where it would fall underneath there. So I did the first one and I set all this up, and then I did the second one. So I hear the word metrics and get a little anxiety zing, but like it's all part of it. I gotta buck up. Oh, hey, 90 plus is worth it. Yeah, I think so, because it came out to like $1, $16, $15. It's like $1.15 and some tenths of a penny. And I just got an email from David Gaugrand today, because I'm on his email list. So not like I got it personally, but it hit my email inbox, and he talked specifically about Facebook ads with reader magnets. And I've gone through his he's in January, he put out a very long video about Facebook ads and how to do that to your books on Amazon. So I went through all of that, and I was testing Facebook ads back in January to see what I could do. And I could see how, like, I feel like I'm pretty confident in getting clicks, but because I didn't have a lot of books for people to move on to, it wasn't profitable. But I got the hiccups bad. But I can see how I could make them profitable once I got more books out. So this is my first time getting back into Facebook ads since earlier in the year. But he talked about building your newsletter with ads. And he actually set it up differently than how I set mine up. But he did his to a landing page he built, where my landing page I did to Story Origin. So with a third-party story or third-party landing page, it's a little bit different. So he said, Facebook campaign itself, landing page. Okay, yeah. Campaign poses challenges. You'll need to run some testing to nail down your text and image combo. That's the part that I think I've got nailed down. Won't give you that number. Okay, so Facebook won't give you the number, though, of like the conversion of people clicking and then becoming signups. So you have to calculate it yourself if you don't build your own landing page. So you simply take your spend over a given day divided by number of signups. That's your cost per subscriber. I did mine over the week because like Sunday was the first day it went, and I had like 40 people sign up in the first day. And then that dropped down to 16 on Monday. And by the time we got to Thursday, it was like 9 people. And then today it's back up there in the 20s and it's still climbing. I'm still having people sign up every hour. So I was thinking in my head, I was thinking, oh, this is really like reader weekend behavior, right? Readers are going into the weekend or they're on the weekend. They're more likely to download a free reader magnet on those days that they have time to, to read versus during the week when they're busy working. So that's what I think it is. So I'm going to let it run and then look at my average over like a couple weeks. It appears that my average is 10 to 11 signups a day. And so so that's the number of cost per subscriber and how many I would figure out for the number. And he says, okay, so it's also tricky for him to shoot here. What's the lifetime value of a subscriber to you? Only you can know. And he says people hate that answer, but as a general rule of thumb, he's happy when subs are coming up at a cost of around $2 per sub, which mine is around $1.16 at the most, or $1.15 if you want to count the quarter pennies or whatever you call them. So, but he says like some authors are okay with like $3 per, and then there's even authors who are happy if they pay $5 per subscriber because they might have more of a backlist. And so that $5 paying for that subscriber is going to get them a good return when they buy more from the backlist. So it's really what you feel comfortable with. And right now, everybody who has signed up on my newsletter list, now 90 people have downloaded the Reader Magnet, only 73 at that time. And this was 8:40 this morning, and I've had more people sign up since then, but I haven't gone to check my newsletter list. Only 73 made it onto my newsletter subscriber list. And that means that 17 have been on my newsletter list before and they unsubscribed. So even though they downloaded my Reader Magnet, most newsletter platforms will not re-add a subscriber if they've already unsubscribed from you once before. So they just get the Reader Magnet. But of those 73, none of them have unsubscribed yet. So fingers crossed that I'll keep the majority. You're always going to have unsubscribes, but Amazon ads is so interesting. I think a lot of Brian Cohen stuff is about Amazon ads, so this is good to know. Yeah, he does Amazon ads stuff. I think, and I can't tell you like I'm right because I have no idea. I think Amazon ads become profitable when you're already got good traction going. But if you're trying to get that awareness, I don't think Amazon ads really works as like you will get some awareness, but the ROI is not very high. And maybe that could be because I don't have a lot that people could move on to buying from me in the future. Because I ran Amazon ads to my debut novel. I did it from the very first moment. I was already doing it when it was on pre-order. And I've spent so much money on that. And then through the third book, and I do feel I did get some sales from that, but it was never enough to make up for the ROI, the return on investment. And then I've done it to my first book, A Curse of Scales and Feathers. But then I didn't have anything for anybody to move on to for like 2 years. So A Curse of Wings and Gems came on to retailers just this year. And A Curse of Scales and Feathers came out in 2024. So I didn't have anything for anybody to move on to. So paying for Facebook or Amazon ads wasn't really profitable. But I think like LJ Andrews, I don't know if you know her, she's a fantasy romance author. That's like one of like Brian Cohen's like favorite authors to talk about because she was not making a lot of money. doing Amazon ads or as an author, but she was making some money. And her series, she had a whole series that was selling. Like I read her before I knew that she was working with Brian Cohen. And I liked her series. She's like one of the first ones I read when I decided to switch over to fantasy romance. And when she started doing the Facebook ads with Brian Cohen, she had quite a few books already. And she had one that was really drawing people in that then could lead to other books. So they really worked on that. And then through Amazon ads, did I say Facebook ads? I don't know if I said that. If I did, it was wrong. Amazon ads, Brian Cohen, LJ Andrews. So he helped, work with her, and now she makes lots of money from her books. So she was already kind of getting the ball rolling and going on. She had one good, really selling book. And I don't have that. I don't have any books that are like I'm constantly selling and I'm making good money from it. Yeah, that's not where I'm at in my author career. I'm not making a lot of money. But with the things that I've been trying to do this year and, releasing these shorter novelettes, they're between like 10 and 15,000 words. And I can write those really quick. I wrote all of those last year. I wrote 8 of them last year. And then I already got them through readers, Omega readers, and the first 3 through beta. Oh, the first 6 now through beta readers. So it just closed last weekend. The last 2, I need to revise both the last 2 because the 7th book is okay. It's just a few things, but the 8th book is giving me issues. But I still have to get those through my Omega reader. So I can get those out faster. And so I think with having multiple publications, even though they're smaller stories, it's helping. I have already exceeded my income on Amazon from last year. Now, I didn't publish anything last year, so I kind of have to take that with a grain of salt. I published nothing at all in 2025. Roughly I publish 1 book a year is what it's been like when I've been doing full novels and novellas that were like 30,000, 40,000 words. So, because one's almost 30,000, the other one's 40,000. Where these novelettes are like 10 to 16,000 or 10 to 15,000 words. It's mostly in the 10 to 15,000 word phrase, whatever I want to try to say. But, so I think that's helping. So, but yeah, it's still not like live on money. Like if I was out on my own, trying to pay for my own apartment, my car bill, insurance, it would not be enough to cover it. Yeah, backlist makes it worth it. Yeah, if I keep falling back on that internally and thinking, just write another and then mark it hot, we'll be like on book 14 and like, just one more and then I'll mark it. I mean, it is a way to go. I like to say that, like, this is all one series for you, right? If I could do it all over again because I spent a lot of money on marketing my first series, not just the Amazon ads. That was actually the least amount of money I spent was Amazon ads. I did lots of book promos and stuff like that. Lots, like hundreds, probably close to $1,000 or $2,000 worth of promos. And that, I was selling, but it was barely breaking even. Like some months would barely break even. Some months I'd be over, some months I'd be under. And then I thought if I could go back and do it again, I wouldn't do any of that promotion until the series was done. Then I'd start promoting it. So, yeah. I bet that like many things, once I start, I'll be like, oh, this is not the bear I thought it was. It depends if you like it or not. Like, I don't really enjoy social media. Because like, even when Devin was posting for me, she was like, you got to go in there and you got to write back to people who are leaving comments. I'm like, I do? I don't like being on social media. I don't. So yeah, I used to set a timer to make myself stay on social media, but then I threw that out the window. But if you like social media, if you like getting the interaction there on the platforms, I think, yeah, you might think it's not the bear that you thought it would be. That's the type of promotion. Yeah, I would suggest, you kind of do all of it, organic and inorganic. The organic would be like the social media, would be getting with authors in your genre and doing cross promos with them, that kind of stuff. It's amazing you don't have any unsubscribes. I know, very encouraging. That's what I was thinking. I'm hoping that it's good. I know no, I can't say I'm hoping it's going to stay like that because I know it cannot. I know there's going to be people who read it who are going to be like, this is not for me, because not everybody's going to like your writing. And that becomes more and more apparent. And the more stuff you get out there and the more people say things about it and like, oh, okay, well, this was not for you. So, but then other people just like really love it. Yeah. Yeah. All one cozy series so far. I have plans for the next one, but that's several books away. Oh, for the next series. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I'd probably do some low level marketing. like more of the organic stuff if you can. Anything that doesn't take a lot of energy. Doesn't take a lot of energy, and but can still get you some eyes on the series. Is it linear? Like they have to read book 1 before book 2 before book 3, or are they like standalones or non-linear? That can make a difference too. If it is linear, then yeah, I would just do some stuff every now and then on book 1. Find an author who writes the same thing you do and be like, hey, let's promote each other's books, that kind of stuff. That's probably what I would do. I wouldn't be spending a lot of money on it. Like I said, that's me. That does not mean that is the right answer. I just know if I could go back, I would not have spent as much money as I did on my first series. And I learned that with, that's why I did a Kickstarter for my first fantasy romance book, because I was like, I can't continue this way. I'm in the hole. I was like $4,000 in the hole. And that wasn't just the marketing. That was also the production costs, the editing costs, all of that. So I'm probably still pretty close to 4,000. I know I'm less than 4,000 now because that series does still sell, not every month, but I get a few sales here and there, and I'm not doing any promotions to it. So, and I saw the Amazon ads on it. So that, when people are buying it, it's completely organic that they're finding it. I'm not promoting it in any way. I'm not using money on it. So it's whittling away that $4,000, but not by a lot. I'll probably will still be in debt on that series when I pass from this place. Yeah. So I ran a Kickstarter with my first book, and I thought, you know what, this is it. I was like, if this Kickstarter does not work, then I'm not going to stop writing, but I'm not going to keep trying to publish and get my books out there. But it did. It worked. I was so, oh my gosh, I was so nervous. And I made enough money that I was able to pay for my next book cover. I paid for that book cover, and I could pay for my next book cover, which that was roughly a little under $300 or $600, because it's like $285 a piece. So whatever that, 285 times 2. And it paid for both of those book covers. And when I did the second Kickstarter, it paid for the next book cover. So I essentially, when I published those 2 books on retailers, I was publishing with zero, with no negative balance. I didn't have a negative balance on those books. So whatever money I was making from them was money in my pocket. Now I am still, I'm running Amazon ads on the first book, but they're low. I spend like $3 to $7 a month on it. And I still get sales on that. And every now and then I've done a promotion, but I don't. I did one promotion, and it was a giveaway through Goodreads for the first book. It was $119. So the book was not on sale. I just paid for a giveaway, and I don't think that was worth it. I don't think it made it back. But yeah, I kept thinking I had to figure out a way to do it where I was not losing money. I guess a big piece of me feels that way. Why can't I finish the series and then market it? Maybe it's like decluttering. Not my skill set, but I can also do hard things I need to. To be honest, I used to like social media. Then I took a big break, big Facebook break to finish the first book. And ever since, I don't really miss it. I go on sporadically, but I think I'm happier not checking it 4 times a day. Yeah, gosh, I can't imagine. My thoughts are like always all over the place. I couldn't imagine like stopping and going and checking things 4 times a day. I'm already feeling it because of the fact that I've been running these Facebook ads this past week. I started them on Sunday, so not quite a week, right? Because I've been running the Facebook ads, I've been checking my metrics like every day. And I'm at the point now where I'm exhausted. And I'm like, I don't want to keep checking my metrics. Like, it's important to check them, but you do have to give them time. And I'm looking at the metrics on the ads themselves on the ads manager platform. I'm looking at the reader magnet on Story Origin and how many people have downloaded. I'm looking at the stats on my newsletter list and how many people actually made it to the newsletter list. And then I'm looking at the number of sales and K&P pages, because that series is in KU that are being read. So I'm checking like 4 places throughout the day. I'm like, stop, Shanon, you're exhausting yourself. And so I'm like, I gotta stop. I gotta like let this go, not touch it. I did say that a little bit earlier in the stream when I was talking about my next steps with the Facebook ads is that I turned off the one ad that didn't do so well. I can show you the ads here. So here's the 4 ads that I have. Comments. And so you have trope card, reader reaction, quote ad, and character vibe. And character vibe by far was the best ad with the best metrics. So that one's definitely keeping, and it was my reader reaction that got the worst metrics on it. So I shut that ad off. I'm keeping the other 3 running for like another week. And then so I'm trying to tell myself, don't go in there, look until the week is up. So probably won't make it. Like I'm only going on for a purpose and catching a few extra things when I do. Yeah, that's how I feel with social Instagram. That I'm going on there with the purpose of putting up a reel or a story. And then while I'm there, I'm like liking people's stuff while I'm there. But I don't try to stay on. I have tried to make them standalones, but at this point I'm thinking of saying, no, just read them in order. The long plot, slow burn, romantic subplot is too hard to keep re-explaining without. Okay. Yeah. So I would just worry about like maybe just doing that. Just sending as much as you can organic traffic to that first book. That's probably what I would do. And I know you probably don't have it in you because I know I didn't have it in me when I was writing my first series to write something like a prequel or like a short story about some of your characters that are in the series and then use that as a reader magnet to get them into the series. So like with this Bound to the Elements series, this reader magnet that I have out, I didn't write it actually until this year. I had written the other ones already and I was like, I really should have a reader magnet because I know that's the right thing you should do to try and get people into the series. And I did have a prequel novella that went with Curse of Wings and Gems or Curse of Scales and Feathers as well. But I did sell that as part of my Kickstarter. So I do offer that free sometimes, but it wasn't really a reader magnet. This is my first true reader magnet that I have that goes into a series. I have other reader magnets that are just stories in my world, but they don't go anywhere. They don't lead into any other specific books, which is not good for trying to get like long-term returns on what you're doing. Info dumping. Oh, that's awesome about the Kickstarter. Yeah. It's why I did it. Yeah, that's another thing. I intend to get real book covers, not the meh ones I have before big marketing. Yeah. Maybe that's the thing. I'm aware they aren't great covers, and that makes me not want to promote them. So maybe I should learn about marketing while finding a cover artist I love. And then, and the amount of time I spent on Facebook and Insta, I had no idea. My cousin said he took a break and got a big project done. And I said, yeah, I wrote and uploaded 4 books. It's real time. Yeah. I don't even think I don't even feel it like time. It's just, it's the realness. Like even I know, like I've taken the image there that does the best on Facebook right now, or not for Facebook ads, and I use it on Instagram. And even I know I look at that and I'm like, okay, this is someone selling something to me. And I feel like everyone's playing a part or trying to sell something. And I think that's what gets me. So when I see something real, it catches my attention. And you do have people who are really, really good at that. I'm not, because I have to curate whatever it is I'm going to do, or I'm not going to do anything on Instagram. So if I do not curate what I should be doing, I won't be doing it. Occasionally something happens. Like when I published the first book in this series, Wildfire and the Sun Prince, that was April 24th. My husband surprised me with a cake, and it wasn't like it was a big celebration or anything like that. He just brought home a cake from the bakery that said, congratulations on something or other. Congratulations on publishing your book, or congratulations on your book. I don't remember what it said. And I was like, oh, so I took a picture of it. I put it on Instagram, and that post got like the most views and likes and everything. And I was like, see, that's real. That's what people want. And I was like, why can't it be real? And like, that'd be exhausting to try to be like, capture something that's real all the time. And then try to get it on Instagram. Like, oh, this is a real thing. I should go ahead and take a picture of it. Cause then it starts to feel like it's curated again. I don't know. I think of things weird. I think, oh my God, a prequel. Yeah. OMG, a prequel. That would be fun to do actually. Yeah. And that would be a great way to get people in. And actually that would be a low cost way, depending on where you use your reader magnet. And sweet, do this year's reader magnet. It was, yeah. So what I would say with that, why is it whenever I want to remember this place, I cannot remember it? Book Cave. Let me get you a link. If you get a free reader magnet, and you might forget it later. I might forget it later. If you ask me like, what was the one you told me about? I don't remember. Book Cave is that they do book promotions and which costs, but then they have a page where group magnet giveaways that's completely free. So Story Origin and Book Funnel are set up where you can get into group promotions and author swaps, but you have to pay for those. So those are not a free services. Book Cave has some services where they do sell your reader magnet as well, but there's a group magnet page. Create create a group magnet. So where's the one? And these are all free, and you can create your own. And they often have mysteries and cozy mysteries, I think, in there. Where is this page at? I think I was just seeing one. Book Cave Direct. I don't think that's it. They don't make this easy. They did not make this page easy to find, which is why I think people don't know it exists. If you sign up to Book Cave, to their mailing list, you will get all the group reader magnets that are coming through. That's how I find them. Author happening. All right, I see. Okay, there's... actually, I don't see any right now. Yeah, we've got romance, mild to moderate, science fiction and fantasy. Oh, Summer Book Bash. That's all genres except for erotica. That's in July. But then there's romance and then there's fantasy. But I've seen mystery on here before. So how do I get to this page? See all available groups in the descriptions here. So I have to get to this from, because you have to have an account now. They used to have it like on a page where you could see it. Okay, let me just give you their website. I would sign up for their newsletter list as an author because they have readers and authors. And then you can see their magnets. And if you create an account, then you can see all the free ones. It used to be that they had it on a public page, but now they've put it behind you just having an account, and it doesn't cost anything to have an account. So, yeah, if you got a reader magnet or a book you want to get, even if you want to give your first book away for free, if you're able to, I don't know if you're in KU, you can join it because these are all about using reader magnets or free books to get people into your ecosystem. But yeah, it's all free. Okay. Yeah. Oh yeah, I would simp over that post for sure. Yeah. We girls love proof of a good husband. Oh yeah. I didn't think about that. Yeah, that's cool. You consultant. Oh, after the stream, I've learned a bundle. I love sharing what I know. So no worries. I love it. I mean, I could do this all day. Is it free books you actually want to read? That Book Cave. You know, I don't know that I've ever actually gotten any of the books from there, but I have looked at the books like in the promos, and you know, they're often very good. Not all of them, but I would say that they're mostly better than what I see like on Story Origin and occasionally Book Funnel. There is a public page. Okay, what's the public page for this? No? Copy group link. Okay. So copy. So this is one that starts June 1st. This is a romance. So, you don't see I'm not seeing the covers here. So the way that people do it is however they want to. In this case, this author who set this one up is giving away $30 gift card. And so everybody who signs up for it then gets all their emails are given to the authors who are part of it. Click on the covers of the books. Oh, it's not started yet, so you can't see the covers of the books. Yeah, well, that sucks. Wish they would have done it already. So you can see it. What about ones I've done before? Will it show me the ones I did in the past? I've done 7 in the past. Copy group link. But, you know, that could vary by genre, too. Yeah, it's not showing the ones in the past. Or not showing the books that were on there. So, yeah. But, yeah, okay. That one is mybookcave.com. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yeah, so I'd take a look at it. Yeah, it's a good idea. A little gift certificate. Yeah. Actually, I bought King Sumo, which is an app where you can do like where you set up a giveaway with it, and it automatically you choose what options you want on it, like to get their email address and or to get them to follow you on Facebook and or get them to follow you on Instagram. So it has all these buttons on it and everything. I've yet to use it, but I think I bought it for like $75 maybe. It was on sale or something like that. It was yours. I should use it, but I haven't done it. I think it's because you get the imposter syndrome. Like, who's going to want to buy my book, or who's going to want to, like, why should I put this thing together? Because is anybody actually going to be interested in wanting to get my book? So I've never done it. I offered it to, I'm part of a women's sci-fi and fantasy writing group that we meet once a month, and I offered it to them. But no one's jumped on it yet. It was like, hey, you guys want to do this? We could, because we're always thinking about promos we can do and whatnot. But it's not that they were interested. We were working really, really hard on Anthology, which we got out in March. So I think, and our leader, she just published her debut novel. So I think everyone's kind of tired of promotions right now. Okay, well, I got to the end, and hopefully that was somewhat helpful. I love the book marketing. You know what I like about book marketing, though, is if you can make it into like a game. So it's like, here's a winning ad, and here's like the ad that didn't win. And, I love that. Not something you can really do easily, I think, with social media, and I think maybe that's why it doesn't, I can't gamify it. Like, I gamify my writing, and I think that helps me to stay on track with my writing. So, I don't know which of these marketing sites sells blind confidence. That would be great. If you ever find it, let me know. I want that. I always remember what Becca Syme says, where she said this at a conference like a year and a half ago, I think, and so many people were there who heard her say it, that it's been repeated over and over and over again. And then I saw her at Author Nation last year, and she hadn't said it again. And I was like, oh, it's so great. She actually did say this, but she said, imposters don't get imposter syndrome. And I was like, oh, that's true. It doesn't help get your imposter syndrome to go away, but it makes sense. So, catch a big part every day, but I really appreciate it. Hoping you return the favor. Yeah. No, well, you bought my book today. There you go. You returned the favor right there. You did it. So, I appreciate that. I don't even know if fantasy or fantasy romance is your jam, but there you go. But alrighty, we're gonna go ahead and call it to a close, and I will be back on Monday, but it is a change of schedule for me for anybody who might see this on the replay. Mondays used to be my marathon days, but with it being summer, my kiddo's out of school, but he's got therapy, and I've got to get him off to therapy in the morning. So I will be starting in the afternoon with 3 1-hour long sprints. So thank you for joining me, Paget, and anybody else who might be lurking. Thank you so much, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.